студент, кошка, письмо. These are all nouns. What they have in common is that they are singular nouns. If you want to make them plural, you need to know how to do that. So in plural we have студенты, кошки, письма. As you can see, the forms look different. So today we will talk about how to make nouns plural in Russian. Our topic is called nominative plural of nouns. The first thing we want to consider is the type of stem. A stem is the part of a word without an ending. There are two types of stems in Russian, hard as a rock and soft as a pillow. In order to determine the type of stem, we need to look at the last consonant of the noun. If this last consonant is followed by vowels a, o, e, u, y, or nothing at all, the last consonant is hard, and therefore the stem is hard as well. If this consonant is followed by vowels ya, yo, ye, you, i, or a soft sign, mehkий знак, our stem is soft. We also need to remember that if the last letter is и краткое, not followed by anything, our stem is also soft because y is an inherently soft consonant. Okay, let's see how we use this information to make plural noun endings. Nouns belonging to different genders acquire different endings in plural. As you remember, there are three genders in Russian: feminine, masculine, and neuter. So if a feminine or masculine noun has a hard stem, the ending we need is uy. If a feminine or masculine noun has a soft stem, the ending we need is i. For neuter nouns with a hard stem, we use a to make it plural, or ya if the stem is soft. Let's look more closely at how we make plurals of masculine nouns. Let's take an example. Computer. It ends in a consonant that is not followed by anything. So the last consonant is r, therefore we can see that the stem is hard. While making the noun plural, we need to keep the stem hard, so we need to add an uy, computer. So our model is the following: computer plus uy equals computer. Let's take a different example. Словарь ends in a soft sign, so we know that the stem is soft. We also know that this is a masculine noun just because we looked it up in a dictionary. In order to make it plural and keep the stem soft, we need to get rid of the soft sign and replace it with an e. So the plural form we need is словари. The model then is словарь minus the soft sign plus e equals словари. If the masculine noun ends in y, we know that the stem is soft. In order to make it plural and keep the stem soft, we need to get rid of the y and add e. So we have музей. Музей minus y plus e equals музей. Now let's look at some feminine nouns. The word машина ends in a, so we know that the stem is hard. In order to make the word plural and keep the stem hard, we need to get rid of a and add y. So машина minus a plus y equals машины. Let's look at the word кухня, which means kitchen. It ends in ya, so we can say that it has a soft stem. What do? We get rid of ya and add e, getting кухни. And the stem is still soft. Кухня minus ya plus e equals кухни. Let's now look at the word лекция, lecture. We can see that the last visible consonant is followed by two vowels, e and ya, but if you listen carefully, you will see that ya is composed of two sounds, y and a. The y then acts as the last invisible consonant. For us, it's enough to see that the last letter is ya to determine that the stem is soft. We then take it away and add an e to make лекции and keep the stem soft. So we have лекция minus ya plus e equals лекции. Finally, let's take a look at plural versions of neuter nouns. Окно, window, ends in o, so the stem is hard. We get rid of o and add an a in order to make it plural and keep the stem hard, getting окна. The stress switches to the stem here. Окно minus o plus a equals окна. What if we have a noun like море? It ends in ye, so the stem is soft. Remember, we need to keep it this way, so we get rid of ye and add ya, getting моря. Here the stress is shifted to the ending. Море minus ye plus ya equals моря. Let's look at one more example. Задание. Again, it has two vowels after the last visible consonant, but we know that there is an y hidden inside the ye. For us, it's enough to know that we have a ye at the end in order to say that our stem is soft. We take it away and add ya, just like in the previous example. Задание minus ye plus ya equals задание. The stress does not change. However, while making plurals, you always need to watch for exceptions. There are several masculine nouns that get endings a or ya in plural. Let's look at some of the nouns we know. Дом – дома. Паспорт – паспорта. Свитер – свитера. You just need to memorize these ones. Some other nouns you may know. Город – города. Профессор – профессора. All these nouns have hard stems, right? But there's always the word учитель, teacher, which ends in a soft sign and obviously has a soft stem. The plural will be учителя. But don't confuse it with the word преподаватель, also a teacher or an instructor, because that word follows the rule, and its plural is преподаватель. Let's take a look at some more exceptions. Nouns like брат, стул, and друг have irregular plural forms. Братья, стулья, and друзья. But the word подруга, which is clearly related to друг, clearly follows the rule. Подруга, подруги. It has a hard stem, but gets an E at the end because of the 7-letter rule, which we will talk about next time. We also need to remember that there are some neuter nouns that do not change at all in plural, like пальто and радио. So we say два пальто or три радио. Please remember that in adjective plus noun phrases, adjectives change irrespective of whether or not the noun changes. In новое пальто, you still change the adjective and get новое пальто. And in старое радио, you change to старые радио. You will also need to memorize the plural forms of neuter nouns имя and время. The plural of имя is имена, and the plural of время is времена. Как вас зовут? Марина. Какое красивое имя. Как вас зовут? Я Анна, а это моя сестра Валерия. Какие красивые имена. Please remember that the word familia is feminine and regular. Смит и Джонсон. Английские фамилии. The feminine nouns мать and дочь also have irregular plural form. Матери and дочери. У вас есть дети? Да, у меня 3 дочери. Finally, there are some nouns that are always used in plural form, just like in English. Джинсы, брюки, штаны, шорты, очки. Different from English are words like деньги and волосы, which are always plural in Russian, while in English, as you well know, they're always singular.